My name is Sean Ma. I'm running for the Alberta Greens in Calgary-Varsity. It's my first time in a provincial campaign, and I'm very excited about the prospects. I'm running for the Alberta Greens because I want to see some real change, and also because of the principles that the Green Party has. 10 core principles which really speak to my values. And you can check them out at www.albertagreens.ca or at my website, www.votesean.ca. And those principles make all the difference. I mean, the Liberals are saying a lot of good things this time around, but it's mostly borrowed information from the Alberta Greens. And you have to question how much they really believe in those values when they're putting up these massive signs all over the riding and killing hundreds of trees. That doesn't really speak to environmental protection, even though that's what they talk about. We walk the talk. Well, in Calgary-Varsity, we've got several important issues. One is affordability and availability of housing options. So the students are having trouble finding housing, certainly affordable housing, and even just your regular employed middle-class people in the riding are having difficulties with that too. So we need to be building into new community development more varied options for housing in terms of the size and the cost of housing. And that's a function of the Municipal Government Act, which the Alberta government has jurisdiction over. So that's one area. Post-secondary education. We could be lowering tuition fees, putting more increased emphasis on co-op education. We need a more sustainable financial model for the universities so that they can continue to provide a good education. They've built up a huge infrastructure deficit over the last 15 years as a result of underfunding, and that's the only place they can draw from. Their income is fixed, their expenses are not, and so it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do the math there. Other things which are important include primary education. Again, a big infrastructure deficit. There's no excuse for that in this province. We need to be doing better, and we need to start eliminating that deficit and building and funding models that will make sure that won't be repeated. Likewise, again, in new communities, we have to make sure that there's schools and recreation facilities so that they're livable communities. It's absolutely insane that young children are commuting an hour to get to school. There's no reason for that. It's just poor planning and catering to developers at the expense of the people that will live in those developments. Certainly the environment is also a big deal. You've got the oil sands, which is a ticking environmental time bomb. We're not saying, shut down the oil sands. What we're saying is no more new development until we get the plan right to move forward and to sustain it in the long term. Sustainability in terms of the environment, in terms of society and society, the environment and health, all those different things. We need to make sure that what we're doing up there isn't going to create long-lasting difficulties for future generations. And right now that is happening. And even with current day, I mean, we've got a super hot economy. What's wrong with backing off a bit on that? I see a lot of people today that aren't happy with that super hot economy. And who's gaining by that? It's a relative few. We need to make sure that the benefits of the oil and gas industry are spread across the society. It's a society's resource. It's not just one small group's. Another key issue is the democratic deficit. We live in a province that is probably the least democratic jurisdiction in North America, I think. We've got a government that spies on its people with the EUB scandal that happened recently. And the minister in charge didn't think that was a big deal. We have our MLAs sitting the shortest period of time of any legislature in Canada, not really feeling the need to be publicly accountable. We can't even get a clear budget to the people, just a pie chart of income and expenses on behalf of the province. Is that asking too much? I think not. So in terms of these sorts of democratic deficits, the fact that students are discouraged from voting where they go to school, I mean, that's practically criminal. And yet this is part of the Elections Act, which the Progressive Conservatives brought in. They appoint their best friends to all sorts of panels on healthcare boards and all sorts of things across the province. I mean, this is a one-party state here. And to break into that, we need change. We talk about in the last federal election that the federal Liberals were complacent, self-serving. Well, geez, look at what we have here in Alberta. This is the most self-serving government there is. And it's very, very small in terms of who actually governs. I mean, those backbenchers have almost no say in how their government works. So we need a strengthened opposition. The Green Party can be a new voice suggesting some new ideas, and we think that's very important. I firmly believe the Green Party is going to elect at least one, if not 2 or 3 MLAs this time around. It'll be a major breakthrough, but we really need a change in government. Why should people vote Green? And more specifically, why should people vote for Sean Ma in Calgary-Varsity? Well, I actually thought hard and seriously about running because Harry Chase is the MLA in Calgary-Varsity right now. He's a good MLA, he's a Liberal, and they're saying some pretty good things right now, doing some pretty good things. So why would I want to get in the way of that? Because I certainly don't want the Conservative to win in the riding. But I thought, well, the Greens don't stand for the same things that the Liberals do. I mean, the values are different, and some of the policies are different too. And the policies you might like that the Liberals have are actually our policies. So, I mean, let's give people a choice. Let's not swing backroom deals where we're taking the choice away from them. The fact of the matter is we have several good candidates in Calgary-Varsity. Well, what a problem that is. We should be wanting that in the system. The fact that we have first past the post makes that a difficult situation, but it shouldn't be. We should always be wanting to vote for the people we want to vote for. We shouldn't be thinking, well, I don't know, that might split the vote. And we should be voting for what we believe in. And that's the bottom line. The fact that our system doesn't support that is a problem with the system. And we should be seeking to change that. Now, I believe with my experience in post-secondary education, vast experience in post-secondary education, I can speak very well to the issues that are important in Calgary-Varsity, better than Harry Chase. And also, I live in the riding, so I'm a community member and have been working in the riding for many years now. So I believe I can do an excellent job of representing the people of Calgary-Varsity, and they can elect one of the first Green MLAs in Canada and make a difference.